One of the more interesting questions from human evolution is why our brains got so big so fast. Our brains tripled in size over about 2 million years. And this was a consistent advance, which means there was some kind of dynamic going on that continuously put pressure on bigger and bigger brains. So the question is, what is this thing? What was this dynamic that made bigger brains better than smaller brains, and it existed continuously for 2 million years? There have been a lot of theories. The discovery of fire, the use of tools, the ability to cook food, our use of language. But one theory has been gaining a lot of prominence and acceptance lately, and that is the social brain theory, or sometimes called the Machiavellian brain theory. And this started when humans started to work collaboratively to solve common problems. If you look at chimps and other primates, when they go out looking for food, it's pretty much every man for themselves. But for humans to defend themselves, or proto-humans, to defend themselves against big animals and to hunt big animals, they needed to work together. They needed to work collaboratively as a cohesive collective unit. And one fascinating piece of evidence is the reason we have whites in our eyes. The reason we have whites in our eyes and other primates don't have whites in their eyes is if you have whites in your eyes, everybody can tell where everybody is looking. So if we're talking together and I go like that, everybody's going to know that there's something over there. So everybody looks over there. And this whites of our eyes phenomenon can turn a collective of humans into a collective consciousness, a kind of a hive mind that can work together to solve common problems, to defend against big animals, and to kill and eat big animals. And within this collective consciousness, this metaphorical collective consciousness, we existed in a hierarchy, where the people at the top end of the hierarchy had more kids, had more reproductive access than people at the lower end of the hierarchy. And so the question is, what would make an ancient proto-human caveman or an ancient human caveman rise up to the top of the hierarchy? What skills would they need? Well, they would need to come up with good ideas to solve common problems, to defend against scary animals, to kill big animals and eat them. But you'd also have to be able to persuade other people of the validity of your ideas, because every time a common problem came up, everyone had an idea of what to do. It was a kind of an idea contest. So whoever had the best idea and whoever could persuade other people of the validity of that idea, they consistently rose to the top of the hierarchy. So based on this model, our brains are an ID-generating persuasive machine. Your brain evolved to solve problems, to come up with creative solutions to problems, and persuade other people of the validity of your ideas. The human brain is a problem-solving, creative thinking, persuasive engine. The question is, if our brains evolved to be a persuasive engine, to be a persuasive machine, why does modern persuasion seem so difficult? Why does modern persuasion seem so confrontational? Why does modern persuasion and sales have such a low probability of success? Why is it considered a numbers game? Well, the answer lies in the difference between what life was like back then and what life is like today. Back then, everybody had the same problem. Everybody was trying to solve the same problems. So if you had an idea contest with 10 cave people, even if you lost the idea contest, you were still going to be part of the solution to the problem. It was a very, very good collaborative effort, a very good feeling collaborative effort with people that you had a strong relationship with. And so everybody was trying to solve common problems. It was definitely a win-win. Even if you never won an idea contest, just by participating in an idea contest back then, you would still get your needs met. Nobody would be left behind. Another difference back then is everybody had much simpler mental maps. Everybody had a much simpler idea of what they wanted and what they didn't want. Nobody argued over where they were going to go for dinner. Everybody had the same idea when they got hungry. So we had much simpler mental maps. We had different ways to satisfy those mental maps, but the mental maps themselves were very similar from human to human. And we were all trying to solve common problems. But today, it's completely different. We have much more complex mental maps. Our desires are all over the place. Everybody has different desires. Everybody has different problems they'd like to solve. Everybody has different reasons for not trying to get their desires. We all have a very, very, very complex mental map. And we're also not trying to solve common problems. Most persuasive conversations today feel very much like a battle where the winner gets what they want and the loser doesn't get what they want. It's not a win-win like it used to be. It's a zero-sum game. That's why persuasion can feel so confrontational. If we're having a persuasion battle and you persuade me, it feels like I have to help you get what you want, but I have to forget what I want. That's why modern persuasion feels so confrontational. The good news is there's a way to persuade other people, an easy way to persuade other people to recreate that ancient feeling of collaborative problem solving, of creating that good rapport feeling, that good connection upon which you can build a solid base to solve common problems. And the way to do that in modern times is to simply temporarily turn off your ego, temporarily turn off your own mental map, and explore the other person's mental map. Ask them what they want. Ask them about their desires. Ask them about their greatest resources. That will clarify the desires in their mind. That will make the desires in their mind much more specific and colorful and emotionally rich. And if you build up their resource state, their confidence, they will feel much more likely that they'll be able to get their desires in the future. And that will create a very, very good, happy feeling, a very good collaborative feeling, a good feeling of deep rapport that existed in the Stone Age. And it will feel very familiar to them. It will feel very good to them. And it will trigger the ancient law of reciprocity. When somebody makes us feel good, when somebody helps us, we feel compelled instinctively and subconsciously to help them get what they want. And the non-intuitive part is the content of their mental map. The stuff you're actually talking about, the stuff they want, doesn't have to be related very much at all to the stuff that you want. All you really need to do is simply temporarily turn off your ego, turn off your mental map, ask about their mental map, expand their desires, make them feel fantastic, make them feel like their desires are within their reach because of the conversation they are having with you, and they will feel compelled to help you. And all you have to do is say, hey, I was thinking about doing XYZ. What do you think? And because they're in such a good mood, they will be eager to help you get XYZ, whatever XYZ is. And XYZ doesn't have to have anything to do with what you just talked about. This is not intuitive, but it is very, very powerful. And once you experience this, once you experience how easy persuasion can be from this model, you'll realize that the modern world is just like the ancient world. It is a persuasion contest. The more you can use your brain as a persuasion machine, the more you can use your brain as a persuasion engine, the more you can persuade other people of your way of thinking, the easier life will be, the easier job interviews will be, the more you'll do well on your job by persuading other people of your ideas, the better your relationships will be, the more you can solve common relationship problems using this persuasion model, so you'll have happier relationships, you'll have more relationships, you'll be much more likely to make more income, make more money, earn more income. Once you realize that persuasion is very, very easy, or it can be easy if you use this model. And the modern world really is a persuasion contest. And with everyone else using the persuasion model that is very confrontational, and you using the persuasion model that is very friendly, very ancient, very familiar, very comfortable, very happiness-inducing, you can be head and shoulders above everybody else by using this modern persuasion model and dominating life as a persuasion contest with your highly evolved persuasion machine that is inside your ears. If you'd like to learn more about how to use your brain to persuade other people, how to use your language to persuade other people, check out the links below. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you next time.